To me, one of the most confusing quarterback situations in college football has to be with the Michigan Wolverines. After JJ McCarthy took over college football the last 2 years, he is now a first-round pick and a franchise quarterback for the Vikings, and after winning a national championship, there is going to be a very high bar to live up to. Michigan's in a weird spot with the quarterback position, as they have 5 really weird options: a former walk-on, a 7th-year guy, a blue-chip freshman, and then 2 developmental quarterbacks who've both spent time in the system and have a lot of potential. A few months ago I made a video going through the quarterback battle, but now as we've had 5 months pass, there still really isn't much clarity on what is going on in Michigan. We don't really know who the starting quarterback's going to be, and we honestly may not know for a little while. In today's video, I'm going to try to attempt to answer that question, and we're going to talk about who I think will be the starting quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines, go through the different options, and what the coaching staff has said about who will run out under center. But before we get started, if you're a big fan of college football, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you support today's video, and let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I can cover next. Now let's get started and talk about Michigan's quarterback battle. Seriously, who's going to play quarterback for Michigan in 2024? It'll come down to Jack Tuttle, Alex Orji, Davis Warren, Jayden Denegal, or Jaden Davis. The competition is expected to continue deep into fall camp, if not even into the regular season. Head coach Sherrone Moore said, quote, "Ideally I'd like to know now, but that's not going to happen. Probably sometime during fall camp, we'll have a couple of scrimmages and put them in those situations and see who manages the team and best go from there." So who are the options? Well, first you have Jack Tuttle. He was a 4-star recruit in the class of 2018. Yes, that was a long time ago. That was the same class as both Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. He was a 4-star recruit and decided to commit to Utah and was even a top 8 pro-style quarterback. At both Utah and Indiana, he played in a total of 22 games, including 5 career starts with the Hoosiers. He has a grand total of 1,000 passing yards and 6 touchdowns, and he just turned 25 and was granted a 7th year of eligibility by the NCAA to expand his meandering college journey. Honestly, I don't really know if Tuttle has what it takes to lead the team, but he also dealt with an undisclosed upper body injury for most of spring practice, and Moore said, quote, "He's got talent, and we'll see what happens when we get to fall camp." Honestly, he might just be an experienced backup, as I watched Tuttle plenty at Indiana, and I never really saw him put it all together. But maybe being a backup to Michael Penix and being at Michigan for a few years might have helped him out. The next guy we need to talk about is Davis Warren. He was a 0-star recruit in the class of 2020 and had a really inspiring story, as apparently he was diagnosed with leukemia but ended up finding a way to beat it and joined Michigan as a walk-on. While many thought he was just a good story, he actually continued to play better and earn the trust of the coaching staff. In total, he's played in 8 games so far with the Wolverines and has actually completed 5 of 14 passes for 89 yards with 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Sadly, because of the cancer diagnosis and everything that went on in the world in 2019, this would severely hurt Warren's path, but as I said, he's played sparingly over the last few years and apparently was the most productive passer in this year's spring game and guided the Maize to a 17-7 win over the Blue. He completed 6 of 9 passes for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns, and while I think it's pretty unlikely he's the starter, at this point he's still in the race, and his experience and tenacity is something that Coach Sherrone Moore really likes and can maybe get him an opportunity to see the field. The third option is Jaden Davis. At one point, he was the #1 quarterback in the country in 8th grade and was considered a 5-star prodigy coming out of North Carolina. Unfortunately, when he committed, he was a 5-star recruit, but was later for some reason bumped down, but was still a top 10 quarterback in the class of 2024. He obviously arrived with a lot of fanfare, and while he has a great arm and has a lot of potential, I think there's not really a good reason why he would start. I don't think he's more proficient in any area than the other 4 guys, and the other dudes have a lot more experience in the system, which seems to be something that head coach Sherrone Moore is really looking for, and something that Michigan has done a lot in the past. I think Jaden Davis will redshirt, play in 4 games this year, and then potentially be ready to take over next year, and the only way I really see him getting on the field is if all 4 guys in front of him really struggle, and at some point they just want to get him developed. But he did throw for 3,300 yards and 43 touchdowns as a senior, and he's going to want to play right away. I know that. Up next, we have the guy who I really thought was going to be the starting quarterback for Michigan this fall, and that is Jayden Denegal. He was a part of the class of 2022 for the Wolverines, and he held a ton of big-time offers from schools such as Arkansas, Auburn, Georgia, Michigan State, and Utah. He He was an absolute stud at Apple Valley High School in California and finished with more than 4,600 yards and 69 touchdowns. What was really interesting is that when he committed, he was a 4-star, but ended up dropping to a 3-star by the end of it. He was seen as more of a developmental quarterback, as he was 6'5", and some were worried about his accuracy coming out of high school. Denegal has been a backup the last few years, and so far he's played in 7 games for the Wolverines, throwing for 80 yards, throwing for 50 yards with 1 touchdown, and not a single interception. While he didn't play a whole lot these last few years, Jaden Denegal apparently fell behind in the spring. I thought he was supposed to be the starter, and I thought he had the best chance at it, but apparently Kurt Campbell said, quote, "He had a really bad start to spring, and then he was exceptional in the last 11 practices, and I know it meant a lot to him." This article was published back in May, so maybe by now he's catching steam, but for some reason it really feels like he's fallen behind a little bit and will likely be the backup, and honestly, in my opinion, he's a guy who's probably going to transfer out after this season. I kind of wanted to see him be the starter, but it looks like that title is probably going to be given to Alex Orji. The title of the video had a question in it, so let's answer the question. Their offensive coordinator said, quote, "Jack Tuttle, Davis Warren, and Alex Orji, they have been outstanding. So is the rest of the room, and they've come with intent to be better every single day and compete to win the starting job, and they're all up there for the challenge. Well, yeah, Warren and Tuttle have a shot. Alex Orji looks like he's going to be the guy, and it looks like he has pulled away in the quarterback battle. So who the heck is this guy? Well, he's a 6'3" guy who's a super big athlete. His brother played in the NFL after being a star at Vanderbilt, and after originally committing to Virginia Tech, he would flip to Michigan and join Denegal in the class of 2022. So far, he's played in 9 games and is 1 of 1 passing for 5 yards and has 3 rushing scores for 123 yards. Orji is an insane athlete, as he has a 41-inch vertical leap, a 10'6" broad jump, and a 3.97 second in the shuttle. He's one of those guys that can really use his legs, and in a run-heavy offense like Michigan, he's essentially another running back who can also throw the ball. But when he throws the ball, will it be accurate? Well, a lot of people think that Alex Orji could be a lot like Jalen Milroe, and that he's an unpolished version of Milroe. The big question mark around Jalen Milroe was his accuracy, and while he got better at that throughout the season, Alex Orji's on a similar trajectory. He's not been able to prove that he's a super accurate quarterback, so will the staff fully trust the ball in his hands? That I don't know. Campbell said, quote, "When you look at the offense, you have to look at your players first and what they do best, and Alex is one of the best 11 players on the offense. Is he going to be the best quarterback? I don't know. That is yet to be determined, but he's going to have to touch the football, and we'll have to plan for him to touch the ball a lot. He's explosive, he's dynamic, and he can throw the ball. We have to make sure that he's a part of this offense." While he did deal with an injury to the start of the 2023 season, in those later big games, Michigan trusted Orji with the ball. He had crucial carries against Ohio State, Iowa, Alabama, and Washington, but now we're talking about him being the starting quarterback, not just a situational gadget player. At this point, it looks like he's probably going to win the job, as he is kind of pulled away, and honestly, I think he probably is the best bet. Jack Tuttle is old, was dealing with an injury, and hasn't really shown that much in college. Davis Warren's ceiling isn't that high, Jaden Davis is too young, and Denegal might just be too raw. Orji is at least a really talented runner, has experience, has blazing speed, and has the potential to have a rocket of an arm. There's a lot of pressure on this coaching staff to find a replacement for JJ McCarthy, and for now, I don't know if they have a great answer. They have 5 options, but the fact that this battle is still going on tells me that there's going to be a lot of sorting out to do. I could see a world in which Orji starts in week 1 and then another guy plays in week 2, but they're going to have to figure out quickly as they have to play against Texas, and that is not going to be an easy matchup. We're really just going to have to wait and see, but the answer to the question is I think Alex Orji for now. But what do you guys think? If you're a Michigan fan, what do you think of the quarterback battle? Who do you think is going to be the starter? And what other quarterback battle should I take a look at in my next video? Be sure to let me know down below. Leave a like if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. Hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.